Hi, I'm Lolly, and I'd like to read you a book about equality. Do you guys know what equality means? It's kind of a big word. I'll give you a hint. It has the word equal in it. So it means that we want to be treated equally no matter what, no matter who we are, no matter if we're a boy or a girl, no matter the color of our skin, no matter how much money we make, that we're all humans, we all have opinions, and it's very important that we're heard. Now that's what our entire country was founded on. The United States of America was founded on being treated equally. But that word kind of changed throughout time. And that's exactly what this book is about. So let me grab it. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. There it is. Equality's Call. Let's see what this story is. Now, I love this story because you'll learn a lot in it. But also, it rhymes. And I like stories that rhyme. Look, it's a school. Does that look like your school? Look, there's kids at the desk. There's a globe. There's a clock, a chalkboard, and a teacher. And on the chalkboard, the teacher wrote voting rights. So I think this book is about voting. Our founders declared when our country began that consent of the governed was part of the plan. Through voting, elections, and representation, the voice of the people would strengthen our nation. So there's the guys who wrote the Constitution, or the basic rules for our country, which is very important. In fact, though, for years, this great founding ideal was extended to some, but for others, not real. But we heard in the distance, equality's call. A right isn't right till it's granted to all. The state set the rules about who got to vote, and your gender, your race, and your wealth were of note. So look, here's this kind of guy. It says could vote, and then all these people couldn't vote. That's not fair, right? If only one kind of person can vote. Let's see how they change that. White men with property went to the polls, but the rest of the people were left off the rolls. The dream of democracy wasn't yet true. There were changes to make. There was work still to do. But we heard growing clearer, equality's call. All right isn't right till it's granted to all. The rules about wealth were the first thing to go. As more were enfranchised, their voices could grow. And a small group of voices was raising the fact that enslavement was wrong, an unspeakable act. There's the teacher teaching again in her classroom, and there's some of the people. Now, do you guys know what slavery is? That's a whole different video. But basically, some people were forced to work without getting paid, and they couldn't leave if they wanted to. That's really sad, isn't it? It's a very sad part of our history in the United States. But everyone said that should change. So let's see how that worked out. Good people stood up for the truth that they knew. Abolition and suffrage were long overdue. Those are a couple very big words. We heard ever louder equality's call. A right isn't right till it's granted to all. See, there's more people joining the call saying, let's fix this word here. Let's fix how it's being talked about, because it's not equal if not everybody can do it, right? There was war in our nation and slavery ended, yes. Amendments were added, the franchise extended. Look, that's Abraham Lincoln. He's like, no more slavery. We're done with that. Thank you very much, Abraham Lincoln. And thank you to all the people who said it was wrong. It says, vote here. Now more men could vote, at least so the law said, yet denial through taxes and tests were widespread, and the voices of women were mostly omitted. That means it was left out. It was only some states, in only some states was their voting permitted. All right, that's not fair. So that means if you weren't smart enough, and if you didn't make enough money, and if you were a girl, that they wouldn't let you vote. All right, let's see how this changes. But nothing could muffle equality's call. A right isn't right till it's granted to all. So look, now we've got some extra words. It says, give us the vote now. This one says, votes for women. Yes. What would you do for women's suffrage? All right, let's see what's next. Suffragists didn't give up on the fight, and the 19th Amendment gave women the right. But voters of color still met with oppression. Their voting was hindered by brutal suppression. Now there's a couple of big words that I think we should probably talk about. Suffrage. That's kind of funny, isn't it? That was basically women were saying, we want to vote. So that's what that word means if you run into that. And oppression, suppression. Oppression, suppression. Have you guys ever heard of either of those words? Now, oppression means that people were like, no, and they didn't want it to happen. And suppression meant that people made sure that they weren't heard. So if someone was like, you know, I think that this is wrong, then everybody else would be like, shh. That's what it meant. So that's not fun. It's very wrong. So we passed legislation to make voting fair, to extend and project voters' rights everywhere. That's important. We heard it, we felt it, equality's call. A right isn't right till it's granted to all. The journey's not over, the work hasn't ended. Democracy's dream must be constantly tended. But where we are now is a debt that we owe to the work of more people than we'll ever know. And each time we vote, we acknowledge that past. We honor our rights to ensure they will last. For to vote is to answer equality's call, and each time we vote, we vote with them all. Look, there's Abraham Lincoln again. Hey! That is the end of the book. And this book, if you guys liked learning a little bit about history, has a little bit more information in it, in the fine print. All right, let's put this back on the shelf and then we'll talk. 1, 2, 3. Fantastic. It's gone. I liked that they were making signs and they were marching, because sometimes when things have to change, we have to make our voices heard. We need to be like, wait a second, this is definitely not fair, even if people are trying to go shh to us. That's how all the things changed so far, which is really, really cool that we all have our voices that we can use like that. I hope that you liked that book. If you guys are interested in finding out more about that history, then go to your library or go to your bookshop and ask them if they have books about American history. It's the country we live in, and it's important to learn about, right? I hope that you guys have a fantastic day. Remember to be yourself. Remember to speak up if you see that something's not right? And stand up to your friend or for your friends if things are not going so well for them. And yeah, have a fantastic day. Here's a big hug for you guys. I'll see you later, alligators. Bye.